Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Lisa Morse. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this message finds you well. What I want to talk to you about today is one of the steps you can take to put on your armor, to protect yourself right now. We all need to have armor right now to protect ourselves in this crazy time. The first step I'm going to talk about is food. What we put in our mouths and in our bodies has a profound influence on our health. There are a lot of diets out there, and you may be frustrated or annoyed with all the conflicting recommendations. I don't subscribe to the idea that there's any one perfect diet for everybody. I believe in a more individualized diet, and with my patients, depending on what their symptoms are or their condition, I will do different diets, or I will recommend different diets. If you need help with that, I encourage you to reach out to me. But today, what I want to talk about is diet in more of a general sense, and as far as pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory diet. And that's because we know the virus tends to flourish in people who have a lot of inflammation in their body. Now we know that, or we're suspecting that we are going to all be exposed to this virus at some point. It's just a matter of time. And so keeping the inflammation low in your body is essential right now. Now, as I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I thought, do I really need to talk about this? People know this, don't they? And the more I thought about it, I came to the conclusion is, yes, I need to talk about it. You may know some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today, and that's great. And even if you do, it's still important to hear it, because sometimes we fall off track, especially during times of stress, like right now. So I'm going to keep it basic at first, at least. The two biggest contributors to inflammation in your body are sugar and processed foods. Not only do they cause inflammation in your body, but they also sometimes cause us to gain weight. And when there is excess fat tissue around the abdomen, that tissue actually produces inflammatory chemicals. So it's good to keep a healthy weight, and reducing sugar and processed foods can help with that. In regards to processed foods, they usually have certain types of oils, like plant or vegetable oils, like corn oil, soy oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. These oils are called omega-6 fats. And omega-6 fats produce inflammation in our body, as opposed to omega-3 fats, which are things like cold water fatty fish oils, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds. Those are anti-inflammatory foods. Now, you're not going to eliminate your omega-6s completely. They comes in unprocessed foods as well, but it's more about the ratio. So in the past, Americans ate a ratio of 1-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. So between 1-to-1 and 4-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. But nowadays, in the standard American diet, it's more like 20-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3s. So way more omega-6s, excuse me, and that's because of processed foods. So eliminating or reducing processed foods in your diet will decrease your omega-6s, which will help you decrease inflammation. Okay, so those are the basics, sugar and processed foods, and I hope many of you are already doing that, and if you aren't, now is the perfect time to do that. For those that want to go above and beyond, I'm going to mention some foods that can be inflammatory or may not be particularly good for you right now. First one is dairy, especially if it is not organic. Butter and ghee I find to be okay and not as inflammatory as the other ones, but dairy, and then gluten, which I know many of you love your bread. I love bread too. I eat it once in a while, not very often. But did you know that gluten and dairy contain morphine-like molecules? They're called glutinomorphines and casenomorphines. And those chemicals have an effect on our brain. They produce, I guess, like a morphine state. Not quite like the drug, but but this is why these foods are often can feel addictive to us. We want to eat more of them. So dairy, gluten, soy, corn, particularly if it's from genetically modified plant. Peanuts are inflammatory. Nightshades, such as tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes. Alcohol and coffee. And I know many of you love your coffee. I think most of my patients drink coffee. I think coffee is fine in moderation, a cup or two, but if you're wanting to go above and beyond, like I said, to really protect yourself, I think forego the coffee. Okay, so processed foods, sugar, and then you can go above and beyond the call with all those extra things. The other thing I talked about in the last video was the suppression of the immune system, and we need to keep your immune system strong right now. In regards to food, sugar suppresses the immune system. I have had plenty of patients who have a viral outbreak, herpes or shingles, when they eat sugar. And that's because sugar suppresses the immune system. Viruses live in our cells. After we get a viral infection and we recover, the virus lives in our cells and it's dormant. It's kind of like sleeping. And then if we have a stressful event or we eat sugar, which is stressful for our body, the virus can thrive and come out of its dormancy and make us ill. And actually I have an interesting story about viral outbreaks and myself. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I want to talk about it because I want you guys to hear about, what happened to me. And so I'm going to talk about it next time, so make sure to tune in. Okay, so I think that's all I have for you today, but I'm going to leave you with this. You are not powerless. You can take steps to put on your armor to protect yourself from this virus. You will be exposed at some point. Are you going to be ready? Is your body going to be ready? I hope that you hear my words today and embrace them. Eliminate sugar and processed foods, or at least greatly reduce them if you're still eating them. Okay, I think that's it. If you know someone that would benefit from this message, I'd love it if you'd pass it along. And if you have a comment or a question, you can post it below, or you can message me on Fern Cove Natural Medicine Facebook page, or my website, www.ferncovenaturalmedicine.com, or on Instagram, which is dr.lisamorse. You can send me a direct message there. Okay. Take care, everybody, and wishing you wellness always.